What's up, guys? Tim Little. Welcome back to Tactical Bassin. Today we are talking winter finesse fishing. I got a trick for you to take your favorite winter finesse technique and catch more fish and put them in the boat. Let's go. So recently Matt just did a video talking about the two extremes in wintertime fishing. Small finesse baits versus large big baits. Total different techniques, different approach depending on what you want to do during this wintertime cold water weather months, right? Cold, it's cold outside. It's right now we're in fog, it's like 42 degrees and typically the fishing is slower, and now is the time to downsize if you choose to and throw a finesse bait. Now, the tip that I want to show you guys is very simple, but I guarantee you, without thinking about it, it's gonna help you catch more fish this time of the year. The first technique I want to talk about is a drop shot. Now, this tip applies to a drop shot, a shaky head, a tube, a Ned rig, pretty much any of your bottom contact baits. Now, fire this thing out there. This time of the year, fish are cold. The water is cold, everything is slowing down. So you yourself, as the fisherman, need to slow down as well. The tip I can give you, my number one tip for you finesse fishermen, is slow down. If you think you're going too slow, slow down even more. Do not give your bait, your rod tip, too much action. So, tip, put your rod tip in the water. Once you learn that, you'll see how much action you truly are giving your bait. So a drop shot. I started with a drop shot because typically that is your, most common aggressive shaking bait, right? You guys can see my rod right here. Shake, 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 shake. I am giving that bait down there a lot of action. Well, you want to mimic the bait fish that these fish are eating, that they're feeding on. So you don't want to be down there acting all sporadic and crazy. You want to be down there lethargic and lazy. You want these fish down there examining your bait, finding that it looks natural or natural enough to eat, and engulf it. So start with a drop shot because that is your most aggressive shake, right? Springtime, summertime, fall time, we are shaking the heck out of this thing. Wintertime, cut it out. So what I have to do to get myself out of that habit, I fish spring, summer, fall. I fish those 9 months, right? Shaking this bait. Now I have to mentally do what I can to stop shaking that bait. It's a habit. A lot of times we're fishing, we're kind of looking around, paying attention to everything else going around, but we don't realize how much action we truly are giving the bait. Too much action equals not a lot of bites this time of the year. So what I do for myself, this works really great for me, drop my rod tip, put it in the water. So now I can hold that rod and make sure that I'm not giving it too much action. And what I'm going to do with this bait, I'm going to slowly drag. There's current and stuff going on down there that's giving your bait enough natural action. You don't need to add all that extra shaking. So I'm just going to slowly drag. If you find yourself shaking too much, drop that rod tip, put it in the water, and you'll see the ripples on the lake, on the water, the river, whatever you're fishing. You'll see the ripples of how much action you truly are giving your line and your rod tip and your bait. So slowly drag. Now this applies to all of your bottom contact winter finesse fishing baits. Let's show you what I do with the Ned rig. Got a little tip for you too on fishing that. 2 ways to fish a Ned rig. I know you guys love fishing a Ned rig. So Ned rig right there. I'm gonna fire it out there. Remember, it's cold. The fish are cold. They don't want to come chase a long way unless it's a big bait. You know, bigger bait has more drawing power. They'll come a long distance. These small finesse baits, you want them as natural as possible because those fish are down there just staring at them, inspecting your bait, and you don't want to give it too much action to scare those fish or do anything to make it look as unnatural as possible, right? So Ned rig, again, springtime, hop, hop, let it fall, hop, let it fall, not now. Drop that rod tip, slowly drag. When you come up onto a piece of structure, maybe some rock or some wood, some pea gravel, something like that, reel down and just slowly lift. Imagine every inch that you move your rod tip, your bait's moving 5 or 6 inches. So you want to be very methodical, very slow with your presentation. Just dragging. I'm coming through some good stuff right there. Just dragging. Now, felt good for a second. Now, you Ned rig fishermen, here's a technique I want you to try. Man, there's some chunk rock out there. It feels really good. If you guys haven't already tried those tungsten, those swagger Ned heads, definitely try those. I mean, it's feeling like every rock I hit is just a bite. It'll take a little bit to get used to because it is so sensitive. You guys know, I've talked about it in previous videos, transfers that sensitivity so much better than lead. So Ned rig fishermen, I want you to kind of point your rod tip 45-degree angle towards your bait. Watch your rod tip, but what I really want you guys to see is don't do any shaking at all. You're gonna do a quarter reel handle turn, 1/8 of a handle reel turn. What that's doing to that Ned rig, when I turn that handle, it lifts the head up a little bit, moves forward, moves forward, moves forward. It's just a different action than your typical drag. When you drag, it's going boom, 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 boom. When you do the 1/8 handle or quarter handle reel turn, it's doing boom, boom, boom. But more importantly, when you're focused on the small handle turns, the reaction is it causes you mentally and physically, without you even knowing that you're doing it, to slow down. So not only does it give it a better presentation or a different presentation, now you're making yourself slow down without even realizing you're making yourself slow down. A lot of times this time of the year, you're not going to get that real hard thump, you know, that bite. It's just going to feel mushy. Pay attention to your rod tip and wait for that thing to load up just a little bit different than, let's say, your 1/8 ounce head would normally feel or normally load. So pay attention to that deflection. Last but not least, a tube, you know, a Nico rig. This applies to any of your favorite bottom contact techniques. Show you guys how I like to fish the tube. Got a little tiny finesse tube on there, little 1/8 ounce head. Same thing. Fire it out there. Now normally, warmer weather, warmer water, fishing this very aggressive. You know, we've done in-depth videos on most of these techniques before, but you're gonna get real aggressive. Hop, hop, let it fall. Hop, hop, really snap that tube up. Crack it. Some people call it cracking it. Right now, it's just going to be a slow drag. Again, this technique, feel free to drop that rod tip in the water. You really want to drag. You really want to be methodical about your approach, about you breaking down that key piece of structure, and it's definitely going to help your productivity. Slow down. If you can mentally realize it, get out, you know, you got to break that habit. You have 2, 3, 4 months to really break that habit or the technique that you've kind of that muscle memory you've created that whole 8, 9 months out of the year when you're fishing this quickly and aggressively. Now you have just a short window to really break that habit and fish these techniques really completely different than you have the entire rest of the year. But that is my #1 tip for you guys, you winter fishermen, finesse fishermen. Slow down and drag that bait. Give it very little action and you guys will see better results. Stay with your natural colors, you know, your shads, your green pumpkins, brown purples, that sort of stuff, and you guys will have more success, I promise you. If you guys haven't already, subscribe to our channel. We do 3 videos a week for you, strictly teaching, so you guys can put more fish in the boat. If you guys like this video or learned something from it, please hit that like button. We appreciate you guys. Have a good one.